Right.
Hello, this is Carmen from Maui Yoga with Carmen. My first interview with my friend Layton Borkan, whom I've known for 14 years. And Layton is going to tell us about her trek in Spain, a 200-mile trek, and the significance thereof. So Layton, if you'd be kind enough.
Well, thank you for being so interested in my trip to Spain and my walk on the Camino de Santiago. You've been a wonderful listener to listen to my travels. I went 3 years ago, as you know, and I was 71 years old, and I went by myself with my backpack and no reservations, and proceeded to walk a pilgrimage path that's been walked for hundreds of years by thousands, probably millions of people at this point. So it was a very exciting time for me to feel that I was in a place where human beings have been very human in a way that I could recognize for many eons, and that I was following in their path.
Now, what brought you to this point in your life to, take on this 200-mile hike? What happened?
Well, I had heard about the Camino and wished to go, and was always looking for someone to do it with me, and became aware that really it was going to have to be something I did on my own, that it was not going to happen if I kept waiting for the perfect circumstances. Mm-hmm. And I had I have a wonderful meditation teacher who had recently been on the walk and talked about how important it had been to her at a time of difficulty in her life. And listening to her experience, I decided it was time to do it. The right time had come, and that was now.
And what events in your life? Did you have a difficult time in your life that preceded this walk?
Well, I was getting older, 71. Mm-hmm. We all think about our mortality in some different ways, and we'll have more intentionality in our lives. And when I was 60, I had breast cancer, and I had surgery, and I had chemo, and I was reduced to a husk of myself, and of course I recovered, as we do, thanks to some very good treatment. But I really had to look at the fact that my life was going to be one that ended, and how was I going to use what was left? And that's been an important thing for me.
It was very heroic, I think, to assume that kind of thing at 70, to go off by yourself. Mm-hmm. Onto this trek alone. I know that there were other people.
Yeah, very much. It's a very communal thing. Everybody's going in the same direction, and they may have different motivations for being there, but you're all doing the same thing and worrying about the same thing through the day. Where will I walk? How will my feet hold up? Where will I sleep tonight? Very elemental.
Yeah. You made it. I was going to ask you, just to go a little further forward, is your family. You have a family.
I do. I have a husband of 52 years, and I have 4 daughters, aged 30 to 50. So my husband and I have been raising children for a long time together.
And have they been influenced, family members, by your spiritual quest?
Well, they've been curious, and they've been interested, and they don't, want any advice, which anybody with children knows. But my 2 youngest, each around the age of 30, have ended up learning a lot about yoga. One became a yoga teacher. The other one is at this moment in a yoga ashram in Goa, in India. She'll come home in a couple of weeks, thank goodness. And they both have also been serious about the meditative and spiritual aspects of yoga. Mm-hmm.
Now I noticed this beautiful lei that you're wearing, and I know it has symbolic significance. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it's symbolic to you and I in the last 24 hours, yes, right? Because it was given to me by your friend who makes the leis. Chico, who makes leis at the Royal Lahaina. And we were talking with her yesterday morning, and she just brought this beautiful lei out and presented it to me. Mm-hmm. And it was such an act of generosity, and I felt such gratitude to have that moment in the early morning moment with you and her and I. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me that those are those 2 qualities that we want to cultivate in our lives, generosity and gratitude. So it's very symbolic to me at this point, and I'm glad we're talking about it.
Thank you, Layton. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yay! Let's see.
Right. Oh. I can't believe it.
Let's see what went on here.